Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. This time we're going to talk about the top 10 cards you should pick up from set 7 if you're not sure what to get. If it's your first pre-release, maybe you're not sure what exactly you should grab. These are going to be 10 generic cards you should get. By generic, I mean they don't need an entire archetype to work. So these are the best 10 generic cards that I think you should be picking up from set 7. So before we get into this video, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the awesome Dragon Ball Super content that I post here 5 times a week. If you're looking for a Dragon Ball Super community to get plugged into, check out the Discord in the description below. Amazing group of people. And finally, guys, if you're longtime fans of the channel or want to get up on some competitive content now that regional season is in the mix, make sure you check out the Patreon in the description below. $1 a month helps the channel out a lot, and you guys get a ton of competitive content. So with that being said, we're gonna get into this video. So basically, I'm gonna talk about all these different cards. What I do is I keep a bunch of binders. I'm pretty nerdy. I have them sorted by color, and I kind of just put generically good cards in those binders because one day, one instance, either I want to make a fun deck that utilizes them, or they're actually pretty good tech cards in the meta. You'll notice that a lot of unknown, underseen cards, or I guess undervalued cards, they end up being like really good later on in later formats, or even just like in the current format. So these are 10 generic cards I think you should get, not specifically needed for any archetype, but cards that can help you out in just about any deck depending on what color you're playing. So the first thing you're going to see is the Sun Gohan leader. I think this is pretty much the best generic leader in the entire set. Broly is pretty specific, Raditz is pretty specific. This leader is pretty generic. He's got a generally good effect of burning the opponent by bursting 2, which is a really new thing we see in the game, and I think he's going to propel a lot of different aggro strategies. Like, we've already seen a lot of people talking about him with triple flash because on his backside he has the ability to pitch 3 cards to boost your entire board of red and green cards, including himself, by 10k. So he automatically gets triple flash online. I think he'll also be good with like some chain attack Zeno variants where you're just burning your opponent, forcing them to go low on life, and then you're going to chain attack, reset the advantage, awaken, draw 2, things like that. I think he'll also be good with his alliance archetype because he has an auto once per turn. When you activate alliance, you get to KO one of your opponent's battle cards with 30,000 power or less. So I do think this is the best generic leader out of the set. Definitely something you want to have in your binder, in your back pocket. Next up, we have Toki Toki City. So if you enjoy mono black decks, if you enjoy overwhelmed decks, this is a card you need to pick up because this card is absolutely insane. What it basically does is, I talked about it before in a card review, but what it essentially does is by turn 3, turn 4, depending on what your leader is, depending on how much mill you're playing, you're going to be able to let your overwhelms stick around. Now that's incredibly powerful with things like Scientist Fu, a 1 energy double strike that draws 2. It's incredibly powerful with Dark Banisher Fu, an 8-drop that comes out for 4 and basically makes your opponent tax on every single action they want to take. It makes them discard a card if they activate a skill. So Toki Toki City is another good card you definitely want to have in your back pocket. One of the essential black cards to pick up. Another great black card, Vegeta making an entrance. So it is a 1-drop counter. So almost, it will activate in the same timing as Battering Laser, but it's not a battering. It doesn't stop the negate your opponent's playing. What it does is you choose 3 battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or more and power of 35,000 or less in your drop area. Place them at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you play this card. So it's a 1 energy 15k beat stick when your opponent negates an attack. Permanent, this card can only be played from any area using counter skills, and only 1 Vegeta making an entrance can be played in your battle area. So this is going to be a very strong card against something like Janemba, where you get to refuel your deck, put cards back into your deck from them trying to mill you out, then you get a 1 cost 15k beater. Good thing is they play a ton of negates, so this card is going to be very good. This is going to be a popular side deck card for any deck you want to play, which is really nice. So this is definitely one of the top cards you want to get from set 7. Betrayal of the Master. Activate main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy costs greater than or equal to your opponent's energy and return it to the owner's hand. So we know a very similar card like this, Family Kamehameha, I believe it's a set 1 or 2 card, and it does the same thing, except instead of returning it to the owner's hand, it KOs it. So it's slightly better because your opponent doesn't get that recyclability, they don't get that combo power back, they don't get the ability to replay it. But when we're looking at really big cards in the metagame, like 7-drop Cell, like 6-drop or 8-drop Broly, it's pretty hard for your opponent to recommit those to the board, so bouncing them back to their hand is not that big of an issue anyway. Sure, they might get a little bit of a decent charge, they might get some combo power, but removing that threat from the board for 1 blue energy is incredibly good, and no matter what blue strategy you're playing, this is going to be a popular side deck card against things like Green Broly and things like that. So I definitely would advise you guys to pick this card up for sure. Nextly, we have Chaozu Desperate Measures. This is a card that I think if you ask someone randomly what does that card do, they're not going to be able to tell you off the top of their head because it's such an obscure card. But it's a 1-drop green battle card, 1000 power, so not relevant in that regard. But activate main, place this card in the owner's drop area. choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less and KO it. So this was so close to being a strict upgrade from Family of Justice Sun Goten, because Sun Goten is a 1 energy 5k combo that pops any 3-drop or less. If this would have popped 3 drops or less, this would have been a strict upgrade to Family of Justice, because this has a 0 5k combo power, meaning it's less clunky in your hand. And you would just play it to pop anything. I mean, it's not colorless, which is kind of unfortunate. It does restrict you to green, so there are a few drawbacks compared to Family of Justice and Goten. But if there's a pesky 2-drop in the format, maybe against Skillless, maybe against something like that, you are able to play this Chaozu and just deal with it pretty easily. So I think it's definitely another card you should pick up. Potentially decent side deck card. Raditz the Oppressor, this and Kami are pretty much in the same slot. I just put Raditz here to represent both of them. You're going to want to pick this up and the Kami because they're basically Borgos. Every color now except for black has a Borgos, which is an incredibly powerful effect. If there are any aggressive Senzu Bean decks in the format, you can stop those. You can also stop any Shenron decks from untapping with Shenron Figure Majesty. Definitely cards you want to pick up. In the same vein, we have Denial of Hope representing all of the new counterplays. So you have Kefla's Fury, you have You're Wide Open, and you have Hidden Power of the Saiyans. You want to pick up all these cards because they may not deserve slots in the main deck depending on the format, but they will definitely be great side deck options when you go up against things like Path to Greatness, Shenron Figure Majesty, any powerful 4 drops or less or 20Ks or less. You're going to want these counterplay cards to pretty much hard counter those. I think people will experiment with these in the main deck for a little while, but I do think that they're going to go in and out of the main and sideboard depending on the format, and these are cards you're definitely just going to want to have no matter what. Familial Bonds is the best desire card out of the set, out of the 2 that are coming out. Basically, I don't think the Zamasu one is all that great until we get a Zamasu based Wish Leader, but Familial Bonds is already great in just red based decks in general. We already talked about the Sun Gohan Triple Flash deck a little bit, but this card is one of the proponents of that deck, so you're able to bring out the 15k Goku on for 2 energy. You're not an untapped leader in Gohan, so you get to use the last energy you have standing up to play Triple Flash, boost it up by 10k, go in for game. That's just one great application of this card. Once a better Wish Leader than Oolong comes out, though, I think this card's really going to see a ton of play, especially because it adds 2 Dragon Balls from your deck to your hand. So whether you're just playing a red leader that's not Wish, you can just play 4-star balls to get free combo power. But once you're playing a red Wish Leader, like I said, when something a little bit better than Oolong comes out, you're going to get some additional Self-Awaken on top of the Piccolo Power Booster. So I think this card is a definite pickup. If you get some stamped ones from your pre-release, definitely hold on to those. I think this card is going to rocket in value. And probably just a few sets. Maybe the next expansion, maybe the next set, we'll get a red Wish Leader that will make this card absolutely snapped in half. Next up, Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku. This is here to represent all of the body counterplays. So we've got Kaioken Son Goku, we've got Vegeta the Cruel, we have the future Gohan, and then we have Champa the Trickster, are all the ones that come to mind. And these cards are just incredibly strong because, like the same vein as Denial of Hope, these cards serve a very specific purpose. They are slightly better in dual color decks where you're able to reduce the cost of them. But even a card like Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku, you counterplay it, it's going to remove anything 15k or less. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop the play of the cards, so it's a little bit worse off than Denial of Hope and things in that vein because you're not stopping any enter the play effects. But there are a few upsides. It's got a 15k body, it's not an extra card, so you can combo with it in a pinch, which is really nice. And one like Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku, Vegeta the Cruel doesn't happen to share the same ability, but Kaioken Son Goku is, when you play this card, you get to just minus 10k anything, so that's a pretty relevant effect. And then if it's your opponent's turn, you get the bonus effect of minus 5ing something else, which you can choose the same battle card. So all these cards have amazing utility. You definitely want to pick these up from set 7. The last card on the list, guys, Kaba Undisguised Rage. Another card you want to pick up is the Toa Revenge Blocker as well. Toa Revenge Blocker probably should have been the card pictured here because that card is so generic that it just fits in every single strategy. And the fact that it has counterplay is also just a huge boost in playability, right? That's a really great card against something like Gogeta Shenron. They play Gogeta 7, they shuffle your hand, or they attempt to shuffle your hand, then you counterplay with the Toa, you play it onto the board. They really aren't gonna be able to deal with it that turn unless you have like a wide board, and they have like Purunga. That's a pretty specific instance. So if you play the Toa, if you have nothing else on board or they don't have Purunga, they basically cannot kill you that turn because that Toa is going to stare them in the face. If they swing in with their Gogeta 7, you're going to revenge block it, you're going to kill it, and they're not going to be very happy. Kaba Undisguised Rage is obviously a U6 revenge blocker. It works really well with the U6 archetype. It's searchable, it's playable for free off of, well, I guess not for free, but it's playable off of the hit leader. The Toa revenge blocker is incredibly powerful, in my opinion. just as a very generic defensive card. We got so many defensive cards in the set, between revenge blockers, between the counterplay bodies, between the counterplay extra cards, and every color getting a Raditz and Borgos. I love the way the set looks. I'm excited. Make sure you pick up these cards, guys. But let me know, what are your top 10 for pickups from set 7? I'm really interested to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think is the #1 priority? What do you guys think that I missed on this list? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Joey. This is Crossworld TCG, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
What's up, Dragon Ballers? Danny Wynn here. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and maybe one day if you keep watching Joey's videos, you could play as slow, good as me.